So I made a post about EVV in Arkansas and how they literally require constant monitoring, photos and videos you have no consent or control over, and not on a secure line to prove you're actually in need of a caretaker and you're there as much as you say you are. They claim there's so much fraud, and I personally do not believe that. Anyways, I made that video several months ago, and Mayakin, I hope I'm saying that right, posted asking if I had any advice or resources for a caregiver on Medicaid in Arkansas, and I explained to her about this because I know people don't always watch my videos and how bad it is. Because I've dealt with a few people in Arkansas who needed Medicaid help, and it's dire. So this was one of her replies. She has a relative or a few relatives in Arkansas who need this. And she was surprised living in California it was so bad. And here is why I'm replying to this. Could I make a better case for the disabled revolution, the March on Washington, March 2025? Because in America, healthcare is strongly about how much money you have. And if you do not have any money, if you have 5 poor people, same amount of poverty adjusted for inflation, and they live in California, New York, Florida, Arkansas, Iowa, and Utah, they're all going to get horrendously different amounts of care. Say they have all the same need, the same condition. They're quadruplets and they just are quintuplets and they I even had the toy quids. Why couldn't I remember that? They're quintuplets, so they're exactly the same, and they live in these other states, and they are going to get drastically different health care. Like in Iowa, I have heard it's very hard to get this. In fact, I know many people who have avoided trying again after being pretty brutally rejected. A lot of people who have to put their parents in the cheapest of cheap nursing homes. I just did a video about this. I don't know if I'll post them in order, so if you haven't seen it yet, it's coming. Yet in California, even though the resources are strapped as fuck and it takes a minute to get through the care, you have much more recourse and eventually you'll probably get it. Now, am I going to say California is so beautiful that you should live there for this healthcare? In general, yes, but I actually knew somebody who had this in California, and I think this might surprise Mayakin because they seem young, if their picture is correct of them. I know people don't always have their picture for a picture. I had a friend, more an idol, but acquaintance, I guess, who was the last living silent film star, and I was in touch with her son the last few years before she died to kind of help raise money for her, etc. And this woman had no money. Her parents stole it all before she even hit double digits. And she should have even had care through the Motion Picture Fund. They rejected her. And when they finally offered it, they wanted her to move there, which she did not want to do because if she moved, she did not own her house. So her son and her granddaughter would have no home. Her son told me many times that they'd go through the Medicaid, Medicare system for these assistance. And one of the last ones they had shortly before she died stole his car and crashed it somewhere. And this is California, remind you. At the time, maybe legally they've upped it since, because I think the minimum wage in most of the state is $15 now. This was 2020-ish, and the state would only pay $12. So most people would not work for that much in California. So the whole state of affairs all over the country are bad. And if California is bad, just imagine how bad Arkansas is. I mean, it's not good. So this is a big reason we deserve unified rights. Going by states has always been stupid, and going by income, etc. is even more stupid because who needs it more than people who cannot work, people who are elderly, who are sick? I mean, I know someday that might be me, and I'm horrified by what lies ahead, because I would not want any, even California, I really wouldn't want an assistant that at this time I get. That's how bad it is. So this is why we march. See dramaticallydisabled.com.